Hello and welcome to the coronavirus update for the 6th of April 2020, where there are about 1.3 million cases confirmed, about a quarter of them in the United States, and with about 73,000 dead in total. So I said on previous videos, I've been keeping track of the ratio of these two because, at some point the death rate, the mortality rate should converge. And it's now actually closer to 6% than it is to 5%. And incidentally, also, I've been tracking it's always very difficult if you're just taking this number here, the number of people who have the virus, and trying to predict the total number who will die from it. However, if you're following just the death rate, and you have enough data on that, from that alone, you can actually predict what the total you're going to expect is. And that's much more robust and reliable because there's one less variable in it, what fraction are actually infected are going to end up dying. And if you do that with the American data at the moment, I was getting numbers of about just under 100,000 seemed about right. And at that, so this is lower than has been predicted for the last. The values are trending downwards, but even at that, you're looking at in about a week's time peaking out at about 5,000 people dying per day. It's just roughly where you're going to be at. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you about today. Today, I wanted to talk to you about Boris Johnson going into intensive care. Now, if you just take the ratio of these two numbers, your chances of, if you get infected, of dying are whatever, 5%, that sort of thing. There are suggestions that the figure is much lower, that it's 1 or 2%. However, by the time you go into intensive care, there is a very real chance that you're going to die. And the reason for this is fairly simple, that the virus affects your lungs, and without your lungs, you die in a couple of minutes. And so if the virus is getting so bad that it's interfering with your breathing, there's really not a lot that anyone can do for you. And there have been these studies that, look into how effective respirators are. And it's more or less what you expect, that by the time people need a respirator, even if you give them a respirator, somewhere between 50% and 2/3 end up dying. And yeah, it's just one of those things. If the virus is so much on top of your body that it is damaging one of your largest organs, the chances are there's not a lot anyone can do for you, because this is the problem with viruses. There is no real treatment for them. And that's sort of obvious when you know how viruses work. So the thing that makes viruses tricky is, I'm going to take this. This is going to be one of your cells, okay? And viruses, by comparison, are tiny little guys. They're about that sort of size. So they're even smaller than that. They're a component. They're essentially the size of a component in your cells. So in your cells, you'll have little organelles, like mitochondria and the nucleus and all that sort of thing. And these produce a load of the stuff that makes the cell, your cell, function. And what a virus does is it gets on the inside and it drops a piece of this stuff called RNA, like that. And after that, everything else that happens is your cell doing stuff. So this is all a virus really does. It drops a piece of RNA into your cell, and that little bit of RNA actually has within it the instructions to make lots more viruses. So at some point later, your cell sort of gets saturated with these little bits of viral DNA, and the cell starts excreting loads more viruses. But yeah, look at it. There's only 1 or 2 places where you can target something that is unique to the virus's life cycle. Everything else that you could target is actually part of what you need to keep your cells alive. And this is why the number of retro antivirals on the market is almost non-existent, because to do it, this transcribes into a protein. There'll be a couple of proteins, but whatever. Let's have a different color for the protein. The virus will transcribe to a protein like this, and some of those proteins will go to make the capsid for a new virus, and some of them go into making more viral DNA. And so if you can inhibit these proteins, then you can stop the virus. But in order to do that, you need to know what the hell these proteins are, and you need to get a drug that gets in there and selectively blocks up just this one protein. And that is phenomenally hard to do. Just to give you a clue, people have been trying to do that with AIDS for 30 years. And they've had some success, but that's the sort of task that you're looking at for just, first of all, you've got to find out what the hell the protein is. Then you've got to work out what a decent inhibitor for it will be. And, so what is this drug that Trump keeps pushing, the chlorohydroquinone or whatever it is? I don't know. The chances that you just randomly have on your shelf a drug that will block up a new virus are almost non-existent. It's kind of like just going through the trash and finding a winning lottery ticket. Right? The chances of it actually inhibiting the virus's life cycle are almost non-existent. However, there are chances that a lot of what might be killing the people who get really bad lung infections is more your immune system overreacting. And if your immune system is overreacting and this drug sort of kind of somewhat suppresses it, then that's maybe possible. But the chances that the drug is actually suppressing the viral life cycle is sort of inconceivably long shot. So, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And, let's keep our fingers crossed that, not just Boris Johnson survives, but all these people do as well. So with that, I wish you good luck and see you next time.